Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation, and as you exhale, just allow any feelings of worry, stress or tension to feel like it's leaving your body in your outward breath. Become increasingly aware of your surroundings. Perhaps the feeling of your body weight there on where you're sitting. As you breathe in and breathe out, become aware of the rhythm and the feeling. I want you to get a sense then, if there's any background noise, even if it's just the ambient sound of your surroundings, that as you breathe in and breathe out, you can become increasingly aware of everything around you. And in a contradictory way, the more you focus on things other than the sound of my voice, the more effective my voice becomes. I want you to get a sense that my voice is a tour guide of your unconscious mind to enable a significant but powerful change to take place. Continue to breathe in a wonderful feeling of resourcefulness and exhale any stress, any tension. That's right, enabling you to become deeper and deeper relaxed. As your body relaxes, your imagination becomes more active, more playful. And I want you to use the power of your imagination to create the image in your mind of an old-fashioned study with a mahogany desk. And on that mahogany desk, I want you to see an antique globe. Those kind of large globes that you can spin round on an axis. As you breathe in and breathe out, just imagine spinning that globe there in that study until you focus your attention on Southern Europe. I want you to focus your attention on what looks like the boot of Italy. Start gazing upwards towards the northern part. And you can see a tiny blue dot there on that globe representing a large lake in northern Italy. Maybe Lake Como, but maybe another lake. Or the fantastic, beautiful lakes in northern Italy. And as you breathe in and breathe out, I wonder if you can imagine being beside one of those picturesque lakes in northern Italy. Go on for miles. Picturesque houses and buildings on the side. Wonderful mountains. But I want you to notice the stillness of the lake. Almost like a piece of glass. You can see it's moving, but it's so still. And just feel that the stillness of the lake starts to mirror the stillness of your mind. So as you breathe in and breathe out, you can feel this incredible inner peace. Letting go of the stresses and the worries, the issues of the past. And I want you to tap into a wonderful feeling of gratitude. grateful for things you've let go of in the past that no longer serve you. That might be choices, people. I want you to get a wonderful feeling that some of the things you're most grateful for are the things you've left behind. As you stare out onto the lake, you get this wonderful feeling of gratitude fused in with a sensation of possibility. The possibility that sometimes choices that you make lead to a chain reaction that make dreams possible. As you stare into the lake, I want you to do what many people do when they stare into water, and that is they get lost in their own imagination. As you stare into the water of the lake, drift off into a state of reverie and dreams, and imagine what it would be like to be in southern Spain. I want you to imagine picturing an incredible 200-year-old bridge. A bridge perhaps adjacent to a bull ring, looking down on a valley, a ravine, and see the water flowing. And I want you to imagine that you start flying away from this bridge towards the nearby city of Granada. But you're not interested in the modern city of Granada. You're interested in the ruins of Alhambra, an ancient fortress built hundreds of years ago. And I want you to get a deep sense that sometimes things that happen in the past still impact the future. There are people that will see the ruins that are hundreds of years old and become inspired, become educated, have a different perspective on the world. And I want you to get a sense that the choices that you make will ripple beyond just you. There are people watching, people that care. These things that we do have a ripple effect throughout our lives, but also the lives of other people. As you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to imagine you're wandering the ruins of Alhambra. And I want you to imagine you're in an ancient room. And just imagine there is an ancient stone chair. And imagine sitting on that stone chair, but bizarrely, it feels like the most comfortable chair that's ever existed. I want you to get a deep sense that you're feeling that changes are about to take place. And I want you to reflect on your life of the biggest challenges that you've overcome. Some of the biggest challenges that you overcame were not easy, but they were worth it. And that might be health-related issues, or the challenge to become a parent, or perhaps overcoming the challenge of letting go of someone in your life. But I want you to see these things not as traumas and hassles. I want you to see these things as evidence that you can handle a lot, that you're more resilient than you realize, you're stronger than you ever thought possible, that you've dealt with challenge after challenge and became stronger and stronger, and therefore this new challenge in the big scheme of your whole life is just a drop in an ocean, a very manageable, easy thing. And sometimes what makes things difficult is the uncertainty. There may have been a time in your life where you weren't sure whether to stay in a relationship or leave a relationship. Or maybe you had a job and you weren't sure if you should stay in that job or leave that job. And maybe that was causing stress and anxiety and uncertainty because you just didn't know. But eventually, you made a decisive decision. Enough is enough. And when you finally made that decision, the majority of that stress and uncertainty and anxiety all went away because you had clarity. You knew what the situation was, and even though there was challenges, you were committed to your decision, and therefore those challenges were just part of the price of making that decision. Rarely does a parent become a parent and then feel that they can't handle it as a parent. It's not easy to bring up a child, but you accept that is the price of parenthood. And you have already accepted that you are a non-smoker. And the one final piece of the puzzle that remains is just the remnants of an addiction. Not to smoking, but to the nicotine. And as you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to congratulate yourself on the progress that you've made so far. It hasn't been easy, but it has been worth it. And the final thing that attaches you to that old version of you is just this echo of who you were in the past. This feeling that you need nicotine, or perhaps it's just available or convenient. And I want you to get a growing sense that enough is enough now. That this nicotine is linking you to a person you don't want to be anymore. With each passing day, you find it easier to reduce your dependence on nicotine patches, lowering the dose, and perhaps not using it all the time. You feel a sense of empowerment as you gradually decrease the dosage of those nicotine patches. That the desire to be free from nicotine becomes stronger and more compelling each day. You can't help but notice that the cravings for nicotine are diminishing, replaced by a natural desire for water. And I wonder what would happen if sipping water becomes your go-to habit, satisfying and refreshing your body, your mind. And that as you drink water, you feel a sense of cleansing and renewal, which replaces any need for vaping. Throughout history, water has been a symbol for washing away the past. So every time you sip water rather than consume nicotine, you are washing away the things from your past that no longer need to influence your future. Both your body and your mind embrace the change, adapting to the new healthy habit of drinking water. You feel a growing sense of freedom from the shackles of nicotine addiction. And each and every time you resist the urge to vape, you experience a surge of confidence and pride in your ability to take control. As your self-belief and determination grow stronger, it helps you to overcome any obstacles on your journey to be nicotine-free. You recognize that your well-being and health are more important than nicotine, motivating you to make positive, healthy choices. And your body thanks you for the healthier choices you make, rewarding you with increased energy, vitality, and personal pride. The taste and the feeling of water becomes more pleasurable, satisfying your senses in ways that vaping never could. As you decrease the dosage of nicotine patches, you feel a growing sense of liberation and autonomy. And I want you to think about what this would be like in your life. That future over the next few days, reducing the nicotine. And I want you to think of a day, a specific day, a date, even a time to the minute that you will be nicotine free. No need for patches, no need for vaping, no need for anything other than just sipping water because you choose to, because you take pride in your health and well-being. Get a sense of the freedom that will come from being completely nicotine free. And just accept that your body wants to be nicotine free. It doesn't want to be dependent on vapes and patches and paraphernalia. True freedom is being self-sufficient, happy in your own skin, and making choices because of what you want to do, not because of what you feel like you have to do. I want you to get a sense that the very thought of being nicotine-free excites you, igniting a sense of anticipation for a healthier nicotine-free life. And as you embrace that, you notice a shift in your mindset, viewing nicotine as a toxin, something that you used to need, but now you embrace a life free from it. As you think back to the challenging things that you've already overcome in your life, you realize that becoming nicotine free is a walk in the park. Comparatively speaking, your resources completely exceed any cravings, any withdrawals. And I want you to step into that version of you as if it was the day that you are nicotine-free. As you step into that nicotine-free version of you, realize that any withdrawals, any sensations are manageable. That the less you do, the easier it becomes. And day one is the worst it will ever be. And day two gets easier. And day three gets even easier. And I want you to get a sense that you have this wonderful ability to adapt. Your mind, your body is adapting to being nicotine-free. And in doing so, you have unlocked wonderful resources to enable you to live more of the life that you choose. I want you to imagine it's the future, perhaps a few months from now, and you've calculated how much money you've saved from not smoking, but also not taking the patches, not vaping, not doing anything related to nicotine. And then I want you to get a sense that this is sufficient for a trip to Europe. And I want you to imagine that you're looking at a globe, wondering where in Europe you'll visit. Maybe northern Italy, maybe southern Spain, or maybe somewhere else. And I want you to get a sense that you walking away from nicotine gives you more of the things you want in life and less of the things you don't. That true freedom comes from making choices that serve you, not that feel dependent or obligatory. And I want you to imagine all the benefits of a life without nicotine, more freedom, more travel. But I also want you to see that you are completely okay being around other smokers. I want you to notice that seeing other people smoke cements the idea that giving up smoking and any nicotine was the right thing for you to do. Every time you see someone scrambling around for a cigarette, you can see that dependency. Whenever you see smokers smoking outside in the rain, it reminds you that that's not you anymore. Whenever you see people vaping or taking electronic cigarettes, get a growing sense of relief that that isn't you. And when all parts of your body and your mind are committed to this nicotine-free future, let me know by nodding your head. It's just a matter of days between now and being completely nicotine-free until you are nicotine-free, and just say to yourself, I am free of nicotine. I don't need this anymore. And feel how liberating that feels. You are free of nicotine, and then realize that it feels like you're sitting on a stone chair in an ancient ruin. But as you get up from that chair and walk around this ancient ruin, you do so as a non-smoker and someone that detests nicotine. Imagine walking back to a bridge and realizing that you yourself are crossing a bridge from being dependent on nicotine to being free from nicotine. So just imagine walking over that ancient bridge in Rwanda, feeling that this represents the transition you're making to no longer need nicotine. And then as you do so, you realize that you're standing by a beautiful, picturesque lake in northern Italy, staring at the reflection of the sun on the surface of the lake. Lost in your own imagination, you feel how good it feels to no longer desire anything to do with smoking or nicotine. That something has changed now. And maybe you've already crossed the bridge, or maybe you're halfway crossing the bridge, but it doesn't matter so long as you get to the other side, realizing that any withdrawals and cravings are actually a gift, and they are the gift of resilience, but also the gift of a deterrent, giving you a reason never to go back. And then find yourself in a dusty old study, spinning around an ancient antique globe, again feeling that something wonderful has changed. As you breathe in and breathe out, you get a sense that you are wonderfully optimistic for the future. And then you realize that the study, the globe, the lake, the bridge, the ancient fortress city of Alhambra are all just thoughts within thoughts, ideas within ideas, dreams within dreams, as you now return to the present. And as you return to the present, you connect all of those resources with you. The knowledge that you could deal with difficult things and be better for it. And an absolute commitment to being nicotine-free forever. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, fully integrating into the present as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.